na watimi enya wanso wo phone eyusu sinomi noodles open noodles ankola epe ema pe mema pe obia epe sinomi noodles. Try it and you would love it. There were 2 flavors, chicken flavor and a vegetable flavor. The flavors are nice and everyone love it. Sinomi noodles, taste it and love it. Sinomi noodles, try it and love it. Open say utududu ekokotonwa. For 0243 399 999. It is 0243 39 99 99 and at 0543 49 44 54 0543 49 44 54 nepe sinomi noodles nibi netumi etogana fo agiatum pa menka enada monso a moye bosomi adwuma woye wa wadwuma anasa woton ade me pato ohie ska de ahye wadwuma bosomi aso aketua mai ba wohia ska bi de atwa ho anim heya me pato oni Blue Financial Services Ghana Limited enin komo omo the blue loans aba a very fast, very flexible and very affordable financing way. It's tailored to meet your needs. No long queues, no stress, just the support you deserve when you need it most. It is free. Blue Financial Services CCR it was 0303 968 196 0303 968 196. Obit send you a WhatsApp message 0501 609 958 0501 609 958. Blue Financial Services, trust in blue. Dr. Randy Abbey, akwa abanete saying.
Yeah.
Bibi aboko.
Nyame adom.
Wow.
Nyame adom.
Isi ache.
Yes, what?
COCOBOD boko there.
I'm not do na nyame adom nti ye bia.
Very well. Inti a lot of questions. In fact, you share artwork na enrano. Nkofo inbox me with questions.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Right.
And then so na yete say more announcing new producer price.
Yes.
No correct.
Yes.
The yehu online no correct.
Okay.
Okay. And let me read exactly what I saw online relative to announcement. Almost say government 5.
If I'm aiming for we move
Okay.
Minister and release.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Anyway, government announces producer price of cocoa for the 2025-2026 cocoa season. Also, the producer price review committee on cocoa under my chairmanship met and agreed on the producer price of cocoa for 2025-2026 season, which opens on Thursday, 7th August 2025. In a Thursday we are.
Yes.
Subsequent to this meeting, government is pleased to announce an increase in the producer price of cocoa from $3,100 per ton to $5,040 per ton. It is instructive to note that government has by this decision increased the producer price significantly by 62.58% in US dollar terms. This increase in the producer price represents 70% of the gross free on board value of $7,200 per ton and aligns with President Mahama's promise to pay cocoa farmers 70% of the FOB price. It is significant to note that for the 2024-2025 cocoa season, the previous NPP administration set an FOB value of $4,850 per ton of cocoa, and the producer price at $3,100, representing 63.9% of FOB, even though the world market price at the time was much better. The gross FOB value was arrived at using outstanding cocoa contract of about 100,000 tons, sold at $2,600 per ton. in the 2023-2024 crop season and average forecast for the 2025-2026 crop season. At an average exchange rate of 10.25 Ghana cedis to the US dollar for the 2025-2026 crop season, the government is pleased to announce an increase in the producer price of cocoa from 49,600 Ghana cedis per ton to 51,660 Ghana cedis per ton. This further translates to an amount of 3,228.75 Ghana cedis per bag of 64 kg gross weight of cocoa. Government further announces that this new price takes effect from Thursday, 7th August 2025. This is coming on the back of a strong Ghana cedi and declining inflation, reflecting government's commitment to improving the livelihoods of our cocoa farmers. Since the second quarter of 2025, government has taken steps to maintain the cedi equivalent of the $3,100 per ton at 16 Ghana cedis to the US dollar, translating to 49,600 Ghana cedis per ton. This measure by government was to protect the cocoa farmer against the loss of income due to the strong performance of the cedi. By maintaining the price at 3,100 Ghana cedis per bag for several months now, amidst the strong performance of the Ghana cedi, government has subsidized the cocoa farmer with an amount of 1,114 Ghana cedis for each bag of cocoa sold since the second quarter of 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, this intervention by government moved the farmer share of the FOB from 63.9% to over 99%. The Producer Price Review Committee has also approved rates, margins, and fees for all other stakeholders in the cocoa supply chain. These include 1. Buyer's margin, 2. haulers rate, 3. warehousing and internal marketing cost, 4. fees for disinfestation, 5. grading and sealing, and 6. weighing scale inspection. In preparation for the new season, COCOBOD has made available jute sacks and related logistics for the smooth takeoff of the 2025-2026 crop season. Ladies and gentlemen, and to the cocoa farmer, I am pleased to announce that President Mohammed's administration has reintroduced the free cocoa fertilizer program as an additional support to the Ghanaian cocoa farmer beginning the 2025-2026 crop year. Beginning this crop year, President Mohammed's administration will supply A. free cocoa fertilizers, both liquid and granular, B. free insecticides, C. free spraying machines, D. free fungicides, and E. free flower inducers to farmers. Government strongly advises cocoa farmers to apply these inputs solely for the purpose of improving cocoa yield and their income. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to announce to cocoa farmers that President Mahama has introduced a tertiary education scholarship scheme for children of cocoa farmers. Consequently, in the 2025-2026 season, COCOBOD will develop modalities and implement the Cocoa Tertiary Scholarship Scheme for children of cocoa farmers, which will take effect from the 2026-2027 academic year. Ladies and gentlemen, beginning 2025-2026 crop season, COCOBOD will roll out a Ghana cocoa traceability system. This system will ensure that cocoa produced in Ghana can be traced from a plot of land to a port of shipment. This all-new system will ensure that Ghana is in full compliance with the due diligence requirement of the European Union Deforestation Regulations, which takes effect from 31st December 2025. The cocoa traceability system places Ghana in a better position to supply cocoa that is traceable, deforestation free, child labor free, and compliant with EU regulations. Beginning this year, COCOBOD will focus solely on its core mandate. This measure is to place COCOBOD firmly on the path of recovery and position COCOBOD to deliver critical services to the cocoa farmer and support the Ghanaian economy. As part of the 2026 budget, Ghana Cocoa Board Act will be amended to make it illegal for Cocoa Board to deviate or stray from its core mandate to protect the cocoa industry. For emphasis, Cocoa Board will no longer engage in quasi-fiscal activities. It will be a prohibition. Cocoa Board must focus on increasing cocoa yield, improving the cocoa value chain, and the well-being of the cocoa farmer. Subsequently, government has decided to transfer all ongoing cocoa road projects to the Ministry of Roads and Highways. Okay. Finally, government reaffirms its confidence in the new leadership of Cocoa Board to turn around the cocoa industry. Government is also committed to providing the needed support to the Ghana Cocoa Board to enable it boost cocoa yields, sustain the cocoa industry, and reclaim its Lord's glory as the mainstay of Ghana's economy. Thank you for coming. God bless the cocoa farmer. Dr. Kesiel Atoforsen, Minister for Finance. Inti Yajimre Akai Minister this statement. And I believe, sir, Cocoa Board is now firmly under the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
Murphy, a great ministry.
Yes.
Is there more Ministry of Finance?
Yes.
That's fine. And maybe first on, say I'm moving focusing on Mokoma and Sunny Abbey even cocoa price. Meaning, say everything with cocoa roads near the AB free months.
Yes.
Munye cocoa roads be able.
Yeah, David. I think government decision is Cocoa Board in focusing on Nejuma. Because the current situation of Cocoa Board, Cocoa Board exposure to cocoa roads 21 billion.
Ghana cities. 21
billion. Meanwhile, no, the Ministry of Roads and Highways are all the road agencies one as here. No, the commitment is 67 billion.
And that's a chunk of your cocoa roads.
21 billion is separate from 67 billion. They be Cocoa Board or no year cocoa the exposure road cocoa roads in 21 billion. Now Osha Cocoa Board financial outlay, I'll be say when will Cocoa Board be able
to even claw back
to do this thing 20 years or 30 years? But Cocoa Board kept signing road contracts. And later, Kranomos be my friend of co-financing in US dollars. 21 billion. What your road agency, Cocoa Board in your feeder roads and your highways and your urban roads. So how can your exposure be 21 billion for something which is your non-core?
Okay, and that explains this decision from government.
Yes,
it is that the amendment to the act will now let you stay on course.
Yeah, so the point is that. Say your critical cocoa roads,
okay.
It is the responsibility of government to do that because it opens up the country, for haulage of cocoa and all that. So those roads must be identified and be made a priority as far as government road construction is concerned, so that the Ministry of Roads and Highways can focus on that.
Okay.
If Ochinebinian Fanny say Cocoa Board finances now Cocoa Board per se contribute 200 million to roads, and there are some particular roads we can identify those roads, and through our ministry, Ministry of Finance, and get roads to do that, so that we can focus
on the main
creating value for the entire cocoa value chain, especially the cocoa farmer.
But what happens to the 21 billion which is on your books? More ring fence up a
so say under World Bank IMF program 2022. Cocoa Board baby friend turnaround strategy. Now under that strategy, Cocoa Board, any government of Ghana 2022-2023 agree say Cocoa Board be a friend rationalization into Cocoa Board and Casa Transi and no shares 21 billion contracts and BB you can call it desktop analysis. So you be our cut way, you way frame, you cancel way, risk copy way. You bet 21 billion also about 6.7 billion. Okay. So that is what Cocoa Board signed up to with the IMF as part of the IMF agreement. Ubejedi say your bar office 2025, close to 3 years. Cocoa Board had not moved beyond the desktop analysis and providing that signing that document to the IMF.
With the IMF.
They've not done anything.
Nothing has happened.
Nothing. So my first question to the guys there was that why have we not moved? This exercise is supposed to reduce your exposure from 21 billion
to
6.7 billion. It's a dentina. Yenya hushi. Omsio the consultants neka. Na se yentua consultants na enya ade omo no ye be call field no so na yakọ actualize ade na me see consultants e kan na ye di omo so ye di highways e ka be 120 and a feeder roads
120
million cities and a feeder roads be 80 million cities na me say okay nti ahe na ehia se se mo no omo ene eko ye exercise no omo so ye ma feeder roads be 20 near ma highways be 30 million omo ebeko ene akoye so that's 50 million cedis into because of 50 million Ghana cedis inti
adena wo for
close to 3 years no adia ya signing up with the IMF ayenya yeti say there will be a rationalization of cocoa rows near be reduce adia no from 21 billion about 6.7 billion no nothing had been done enti ben I mean inform me minister honorable Atufosi say minister this is the situation and now you contact honorable Agoja.
Okay.
And the minister directly say we should do a joint meeting.
Okay.
And the roads any yeah meeting with all the directors any means me paying for. Yeah meeting as ya near joint committee.
Okay.
And I me pay sikano. Two agencies no. And mo call out. And now omo akoye exercise no. Omo exercise no. Report omo the buy say you between rationalize it to 6.9 billion.
6.9 billion.
Yes. So they have now actually gone on the field.
Okay.
Omako field no so akoye sa exercise no it took about a month.
Okay.
And omo ewie no. Is they say no government decision they say all the ongoing road projects no encore roads in take you over.
With all the liabilities maybe.
It is a say no we are now going to look at liabilities no how it's going to be done whether government be absorbing and now say they will find a way of doing that but at least the first decision they say all ongoing projects no Ministry of Roads should take over. Then now we'll look at say rationalization now because they say now will say your new contractors no so a transi natural mo say bia contract we no say near no we ye say we near say okay sikana wo mu no e bia e betua over this period e bia ministry na betua ana COCOBOD na betua say every year COCOBOD benya 200 million and 300 million whatever it is. That's a decision that the Ministry of Finance and our roads and our COCOBOD will sit down and deal with it. So first of all, no, the Ministry of Roads, Munji in Jumani na Monshe, how you are going to do it. And if it's something which obviously is not factored into their 25 budget, they were probably looking at 26 budget. You know, how they can factor either all or some of them, critical ones into it. Then after they abeshe a kana da hono, a kwamben ye befaso,
and the rationalization means the debt of 21 billion eswati about 6.9
because contracts now are signed no ebi wo ho a almost start here ebi so ho a bia 2% and 5%
okay
ebi so ho a contract no say na sign e bia na opese o ye double seal and na BB you can change it to a single seal it those things na omo trans wo office desktop and omo cho so ye we say a ebetumi ati sika no so from 21 billion to 6.7 billion but now for the all desktop now e was only consultants no call field no na call the exact work then field work no now confirms your desktop analysis or does not confirm it now now you have to engage the contractors on that but that is what was not done for close to 3 years. It wasn't done. Yes, we've done it now.
Very well. Yes. I think it's clear. Now let's come to really what a lot of people are waiting for. For everything I read, page 1 of this statement, border on how much government of Ghana is paying the cocoa farmer per 64 kg. Moma background in this statement. Bottom line, this further translates to an amount of 3,228.75 per 64 kg bag of cocoa. The analysis I've heard, I mean, on social media, say you've only added bare 128 Ghana cedis to a price of bag, and that is woefully inadequate against promises Amoye in opposition.
Okay, so first of all, B, I think there are two things.
Yes.
Either say analysis, no, too simplistic.
Okay.
And now say mischievous.
Okay.
To be honest with you. Now, cocoa ebono ye dien ye determine cocoa First of all, cocoa ni exporti.
Yeah.
Inti yen ton cocoa e was cities. Ye nyina nim say cocoa no ye ton US dollars. Inti ye obibia ye frɛ no FOB.
Yes.
Okay. Inti FOB no wo determine don't forget say ye guarantee prices for farmers.
Sure.
So the idea is say ye an average forecast. And then we also try to lock in some contracts when the prices are favorable. Into an average forecast of your pricing. Into you find say now see over the season no on the average prices be 7.5 on the average. It is our average 7.5 no and now the be year FOB no. What me I say?
Yeah.
Then in determining the producer price, which is the farmer share, a percentage
of that
of FOB no. Enti use a percentage of FOB now. Then what do? You multiply it by the prevailing exchange rate.
At the time,
at the time, no. In fact, Bank of Ghana bema an average over the same period.
Okay.
It will average of the price,
Okay.
over the period.
Okay.
Then Bank of Ghana subema average exchange rate over the period. Enti no, and I would year or pricing no. What did I mention? I say, Enti you first of all must determine what the average FOB is, and then then you determine percentage ma farmer no.
Sure.
We are now I multiply no by the prevailing exchange or the average over the period. Enti memo example just to go back a bit. Season year end year no 24-25 season November 2024 and MPP are buying Emma 24-25 price.
Sure.
Now FOB are buying no a UCA $4,850 a ton. $4,850 per ton.
Okay.
That was the FOB.
Okay.
And as our FOB no, Obama farmer no $3,100 US dollars as the farmer share. So that represented 63.9%. 63.9.
Yes.
It declared FOB November 2024 for 24-25 season was $4,850. That is when spot prices were at 10,000, 9.5 and whatever. Declared FOB was 4,850. It is more and 3-1 for Equiafor.
Yes.
The 3-1 no exchange rate are UCA 16 cedis
to a dollar.
Into $3,100 by 16 cedis, which was the exchange rate from UCA in November 2024. And then my 49,600 cedis per ton.
Yes.
And at 3,100 cedis per bag. Because 16 bags make a ton.
Sure.
So that was what happened. Now, fast forward.
But at the time, despite all of this calculation, the argument was made, say, government could probably have given farmers more than 3,000. Well, I think the NDC were very loud on that.
Yes.
And the Honorable Atofos and Kokan says 6,000 and all of that. And why was that analysis made?
So for anybody who analyzing market no. Now when who say you ton cocoa between 9,000 and 10,000. Now you announce farmer share 3-1. What will be your reaction? Ocean market now over period no.
Yes.
Price no equal between 9,000 and 10,000.
Ghana cedis.
No, US dollars. O monitor market now. Now say a buying ebe bought price. No, I'm a farmer 3,100. What will be your reaction?
Initially,
young fan is even CC no.
Yes.
Market is hovering around 7,778. If you announce say, let's say $3,100 for the farmer, how would anybody feel? That your share market now price no around 7.7, 7.8.
Yes.
It will the farmer 3,100. What it means, they say you are giving the farmer even lower than 50%. So on the face of it, that will be the reaction of everybody. And it's on the basis of that now people said that because when they monitor international prices now, figures or or prices no over a period no. Any the ISEMA farmer no. It doesn't make sense. Because prices no about 9,000. You find 785 on the average. 85. Now so farmer 3,100. Then what percentage are you giving the farmer? When historically, we're saying the band is between 60 to 70%. So 60 is the lower band, 70 is the highest band. Yes. Okay. Say you ready at the end as a market, you find say average 85 and $8,000. Now so my farmer 3,100. On the face of it, it looks like you are giving the farmer way below the 60%. So obviously, anybody or monitor the person will be worried, and the person will say you are cheating the farmer. And I'm sure said that was the reaction. Because the farmer share was 3-1. But you see, that is also the level of transparency. Because, for example, until me call COCOBOD, na me name say FOB UCA was 4,850. Nobody in Parliament knew.
How so?
Nobody knew. Because if they knew the 4,850, they would have asked questions. Say, how did you arrive at an FOB of 4,850? Because 4,850 and not 3-1 here 63.9%. But how did you arrive at 4,850? You should be able to explain. It was just a statement in more. Yes. We have talked about the 7,200. 7,200 no, you're breaking it down. Say it is also because we are carrying forward, rolling over 100,000.
Yes.
Of 2,600 that was signed in 2023-2024.
Yes.
What it means, they say, so 100,000 at 260 is bringing the weighted average down. It will factor pricing now. You find say if you are going to do 600,000 tons, now say 100,000 tons of that is 2.6. Now say 500,000 tons, 7,700. You have to factor in the 100,000 at 2.6, no?
Yes.
With the 500,000 at 7.7 or 7.8, and then you have a weighted average. That will be your FOB. Because cocoa na oba betino. Enya ni na ukoton no 7.7. Would be 100,000. Why no what ton 2.6? They couldn't supply. Would the 100,000 eco supplies are 2.6 no. So you must factor that 2,600 by 100,000 tons in determining your FOB for that season. Because 100,000 of what you produce will be given for 2,600, and then 500,000 will be given for the higher price. It is our weighted average,
Yes.
And not any about 7,200, So what is it that caused the weighted average for 24-25 to come to 4,850? That is what nobody knew until we stepped into COCOBOD. I've seen handing over notes on my desk at COCOBOD. Bibi oho mo friend rollover contracts. It is not in the handing over notes. It was not disclosed to the transitional team. Parliament was not aware. Are you aware, say, for 6 quarters, COCOBOD did not provide financials to SIGA? I've not seen a single letter from SIGA as a reminder to COCOBOD, say, won't submit financials. Maybe back COCOBOD, this small period, Professor Pesa White.
Yes.
Send your obet tata
for the financial.
We your documents. Say documents are submitted here and soon here and can't say I can't wait. Try and bring it within this short period. So for 6 quarters, COCOBOD is submitting the documents without financials to SIGA. Into the issue of the rollover. So it was only when I got into COCOBOD and now more presentation. Many of them call offsite for every department to do presentation. That was the first time I rollover by a buying. Let me say, wait a minute, what is this? Say 23-24, no. COCOBOD a ton cocoa at $2,600 a ton. Season ibe no COCOBOD and to me and supply 333,767 tons.
But the technocrats then, what did they tell you? Because on once na ne omo e wo ho na ye adwuma. E dey na omo ka kire.
Well, as omo kan and say forecast na omo ye.
Yeah.
So you see that first of all, no we forecaster. They are always how do you call it? You can have +5 -5% variation.
Margin of error.
Yes, in the forecast. But this is a forecast that fell over 40%. 2027, COCOBOD be 80 years. Until 24-25, COCOBOD has syndicated loan for 32 years. Now I'll tell you something. Oko has syndicated loan now. The collateral, contracts are signing.
Was signing, yes.
So listen to me carefully. Enti who signing contract? Yes, funny say what signing contract say oh, may 800,000 tons. Then yeah, average price no of let's say $2,600. It's $2,600 no times 800,000 tons no. And no nebetre total value.
Okay.
Enti wuma CMC Cocoa Marketing Company the mandate say you can go and sign contracts for 800,000 tons of cocoa, not less than $2,600. Today we'll go and sign with the buyers. Now, sir, contracts and now they got two banks naming as collateral. Say must secure contracts to supply X tons of cocoa at this price. Until no measure so the amount loan, no syndicated loan. No. This is 1 billion, 1.5 billion, 1.8 billion. No. At that, AC contracts now are signing. It is the American see so. It is 23-24 no. COCOBOD eco signing our contracts to go and secure syndicated loan. Now it looks like the banks themselves they knew what was happening at COCOBOD. It is for the first time in the history of COCOBOD. COCOBOD BSCs in September. Do you know when the first tranche hits COCOBOD's account? 22nd December. And see that. Even that year, COCOBOD had to go and take money from Minister of Finance in order to finance cocoa purchases. So the banks themselves knew that over the last 2-3 years, they were seeing COCOBOD finances, it was whatever. Yeah, no, ebedru no. Sa contrast na COCOBOD ko sign here to go and do the syndicated loan. COCOBOD could not deliver 333,767 tons. That they are sold for 2.6. So what it means is that what it meant was that following season 24-25 no, prices no akosoro no. I was say who use sa cocoa no. Now the 2.6. But this is what they did not disclose. Obi utiha Ubaha Monday to Friday until 2025. No what roll over that.
No.
So for such a huge thing, say COCOBOD could not deliver what ton cocoa $2,600 went to be and deliver over 333,000 tons. Nobody knew about it.
But how was that possible? That's why I don't understand. Say the Parliament Agri Committee on Mosaic Cocoa Affairs, no, didn't know.
Nobody knew. You should ask them. So I've told you, say, for 6 quarters, COCOBOD did not provide financials to SIGA. And I have not seen any correspondence from SIGA on COCOBOD demanding those documents. For 6 quarters. That's 1.5 years. So, omo no mujina parliament no mo kasa munya ni se ni they didn't know. They didn't know. So, as when I went there, me catch say a call off-site. And I mean, you know. So quickly, I went to the minister and informed him, and he informed the president. So that's how come the president included that in the State of the Nation address. Yes. Nobody knew that. It was not part of the handing over notes. Transitional team, no, it was not part of the briefing of the transitional team. Such a huge matter.
And you are saying, sir, that may have affected prices as you say.
That is what affected, because Ubesha 24-25, no, prices were higher than today.
Yes.
Prices were higher than today.
Yes.
So how is it that Eneno, when the prices are lower, the prices have dropped to the 7,000s, we are able to declare an FOB of $7,200. But when the prices were higher, at the time of move fixed price, no, they could only declare 4,850. What explains that? Obi, what explains that? Because time I hear fixed 24-25, no, now cocoa prices higher CNE. But no, yet to me I declare FOB of $7,200. So how come last year now prices no higher CNE no 4,850 was what was declared.
And based on 4,850, no, and now omoma farmers na
3-1.
Good. And as you see, FOB near 7,200. And why are you giving farmers
5,040. That's 70%
of the FOB.
70%. That is what the NDC promised in the manifesto. That is what President Mahama promised recently when he went out there. He met the farmers. He told them 70%, and the 70% we know is the highest in that bracket of 60 to 70.
Yeah.
So you will see, say, the farmer share has moved from $3,100 to $5,040 almost $2,000. So the question is that, prices are dropping below 8,000. Prices, cocoa prices are dropped below 8,000. But yet to me, FOB of 7,200. How come at time prices nowhere in their 9,000s no?
Now FOB near under
4,850.
4,850.
How?
But Randy, maybe when you see no, so we share FOB CC 7,200. Mama farmer no share of 5,040. That's
is
US dollars.
Rounded to 40.
That's $5,040 US.
Yes.
Good. And my farmer no 4,000.
Omo declare 4,850.
850.
And my farmer no $31.
Yes. $31.
$3,100.
And then $3,100 no.
Yes.
And in the area CD of 3,100 Ghana cedis for bag.
So $3,100.
Okay.
Times 16 cedis. That was the exchange rate.
Okay.
And on the amount of 49,600 for a ton.
Okay.
Now divided by 16, we'll give you price per bag.
Okay.
And about 3,100 cedis per bag.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Inti adena momu diena sisi a farmer share of the FOB no was wrong.
Yes.
But multiply by US dollar rate of 10.25.
Yes.
Now the obenya no watch him 16.
Yes.
Now the amount price per 64 kg.
Yes.
But why didn't we see a difference, big difference in the price per 64
You don't see a big difference because the exchange rate, the Ghana cedi,
are performing
here. So you are comparing 16 to 10.25. So almost 6 cedis is shaved off the dollar. Almost 6 cedis. So you are talking about like 40% plus in terms of the performance of the currency. So assuming say currency was 16 with 5,014, about 80,000. 80,640 cedis.
India no divided by 16. No?
Yes. Intika 5,040 no. Say Ghana cedi to dollar no. Still 16 cedis and about 80,640. Now divided by 16, and then you get a bag
price per bag,
which will be like 5,000 something. What did I mention? I say?
Until farmers are getting this rate because of the good performance of the cedi.
Yes, because it is always, you see, you sell the thing in US dollar. Cocoa near ton of dollar. Outside.
Yes.
Dollar near ton. You say oil, near ton of dollar. Timber, near ton of dollar. Until it is the dollar value multiplied by an exchange rate that will give you your cedi value.
Yes.
So you have the FOB as a factor in US dollars. Then you have your exchange rate as a factor.
Yes.
Into the US dollar FOB no the percentage and how they ma farmer no.
Yes.
It would see that percentage is in dollars. No one multiply no by exchange rate, prevailing exchange rate. O multiply and a price per ton, price per bag in cedis because you pay the farmer in cedis. But you arrive at 49,600. No, it was arrived at on the basis of a dollar value.
Yes.
3.1 by exchange rate 16. To give you 3.1 and 4,960. Say you know, because of the improved FOB value 7,200. 80 farmer also 70%, not the 63.9. 70% of a higher value. So that is why in dollar terms, you see, the value is almost $2,000. But then you come and multiply it by your exchange rate, which will give you the cedi value. So that's how it is. That's how it's done.
Obi.
Let me just show you something.
That's fine.
Osha, something significant happened. From Yanfan, it's a second quarter now, when the cedi dropped up to about 10.3.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Nanka, I was say Yama farmer no. 10.3 times 3,100. 18 price per bag. Now was say about 1,970. And price per ton, I say about 37,000. But government insisted, said no. We can't do that. Enti near dahu Emma farmer no 49,600 and 3,100 per bag for close to 5 months. So government was actually subsidizing a bag of cocoa by 1,114 cedis every bag. So farmer share no, by virtue of maintaining the 49,603 no, farmer share no moved from 63.9% to about 99.80%. So you virtually didn't have any space for any other thing. No margins, no fees, no farmer support, nothing. So farmer share, because 4,850 no, now you needed about 4,800 to be able to give the farmer the 3-1 and the 49,600. So government of Ghana subsidized it until the 24-25 season ended. Yes. Because instead of 3-1 no, we now need 4-8 to be able to give the farmer the same CD value.
Yeah. My main kind obi analysis be on the social media, and then we analyze that now about why the early opening of the cocoa season, and then we deal with that. We say Obi, the president announced that cocoa farmers must expect not less than 70% of the world market price. When the world market price peaked to $10,000 per ton last year, they chastised the NPP for not paying at least 6,000 Ghana this per bag, and that they were insensitive. The world market price this year peaked to $12,000 per ton. Why are they not giving farmers more than 5,500 Ghana this per bag, but the 3,228 they've announced? The calculation is this: at an exchange rate of 10, or no, you see 10.45 to $1, $12,000 per ton should be 125,400 Ghana this per ton. In bags, it's 125,400 Ghana this divided by 16, which would give you 7,837.5 per bag. 70% of that amount should give you 5,486.25 Ghana cedis per bag of cocoa. That is almost 5,500 Ghana cedis per bag. Nipan analysis no makes sense, no?
Obi, a little knowledge is always very dangerous. To be honest with you, and I'm trying to be very mild. A lot of figures, a lot of grammar, zero substance.
Really?
So let me explain to you. Obi, statement now can you?
Yes.
When is the season taking off?
It's taking off 7th August. Yeah.
Which is when?
That's this week.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
12,000 no can I
also when it peaked. He didn't state when it peaked.
Yeah, but the season is starting on Thursday.
So
how do you go and use a price of yesterday? How?
You cannot use the peak price. No,
how can you use a price of yesterday? You are selling the thing over a period. As we speak today, into a forecast, an average over the season, over the period.
Yeah.
So we are talking about, let's say, August to, let's say, July of 2026. Until you are forecasting over the period. You may have locked up some, you may have locked in some contracts over the period. Until you are striking an average. Once you finish striking that average, that is why I kept saying, I kept using today current price. Because current price, as we speak, we've gone below 8,000.
And yet 12,000 we are doing below 8,000 now.
You can check on your phone yourself. What they share? Maybe we are more.
Okay.
Not sharing what the price is.
Okay. That's 7,234.
Yes.
7,234.
Yes. Into Yamfan say even
as at 4:14 p.m.
today.
Yeah, as at 4:14 p.m.
Into Yamfan say even in the course of the year. Now say be a cocoa even cost 10,000 and it lasts for 2 weeks or even 1 week. How do you use
cannot
that?
use that one.
I mean,
the upper ceiling. You have to take
that's why I said little knowledge is always dangerous. We need to be careful with some of these analysis, please. At the end of the day, we are talking about a season, the 25-26 season.
Yes.
You have a projection over the period. 2, I also told you, you also have rollover contracts.
Yes.
Rollover contracts, quantity plus value is factored into the average that you do. And that is what gives you what is called the weighted average. So that is what has brought you to 7.2. So assuming, say, in here, 100,000 ye at 2.6, maybe our weighted average would have been, let's say, 7.6 or 7.8. Do you understand what I'm saying? But to the extent that you supply that 2,600 contracts, no, within that period, you have to factor that in the pricing. Because 25-26 cocoa and I would yeah. So that is why I asked the question. Say or no ask the question, say 24-25 na cocoa prices higher CNN. How come the FOB that was declared was 4,850 and the farmer was giving 3.1, which is 63.9%? How come?
Maybe at the time, said they're okay. At the time of opening the season, now they also did not use the peak price because the Okas and price is higher, and maybe it was the peak price at the time of opening the season. Maybe not drop.
And I made sure when I say the average over that period no, was about 8,500 or 8,000.
Okay,
but I can tell you, say a year roll over no,
and
2,600 no, because you're servicing about 230,000 of that in 24-25.
And you have to factor.
It's when you factor that, it pulls the weighted average down. But that is the information that those who were saying, say, pay the farmer, they didn't know. That was information that was not out there in the public domain. And so maybe say, Obi, what's now Monday to Friday? Maybe Metro. Tuesday to Friday. Now me tell that. Until I stepped into COCOBOD. Even me stepping into COCOBOD, no, it took me 2 weeks. Me call offsite.
And now
presentations, no. And I mean who's there, no. That is where I saw it. That's why I got all those details. And I made sure I said, SIGA, COCOBOD had not submitted financials to SIGA for 6 quarters. In the Parliamentary Select Committee, let anybody on the Parliamentary Select Committee of last Parliament tell you, said they were aware of this. Let them tell you whether they were aware of this. Whether it's Finance Committee, Anna, Agric, and Cocoa, let them tell you whether COCOBOD made this disclosure to them officially at Parliament. You should ask them. And now, Bisa transitional team, no, whether in the handing over they were informed about this.
Wow. Ekosiisen say hi asempa FMNT and for more Martino, the government of Ghana announced the cocoa price per bag for the 2025-2026 crop season. And on the Namswa, any COCOBOD CEO, Dr. Randy Abbey, Edi Hon Enkomo, and he's trying to explain to us the reasoning behind a buying announced price. No, and on the face of it, say Osha, a year 3,228, and a buying announced say about the price per 64 kg of cocoa. So they compare last year, which was 3,100. The big and say. Now is a buyer dada cocoa for because the board they are to soon Isra. And on a Dr. Randy Abbey same wire sa adie aba. And you've heard him. Some messages na fe a main sign emrane ho. Yebebusa why the ye cocoa season no entem would ask that question. But we say Obi, ask Dr. Randy Abbey if he is aware that there were rollovers for 2016-2017 crop year, and that the previous administration also met rollovers close to 200,000 tons. The rollovers are in the handing over note. Randy is not telling the whole truth. When they met the government transition team headed by Seth Tekbe, it was one of the issues they drew their attention to. You can even ask Seth Tekbe. We're free. Honorable Michael Edu, only a Ofori member of Parliament, and all the way about Randy.
You see, I don't like to. I try to stay away from personalizing issues because I know who sent it.
Yes.
But my predecessor left me handing over notes, chief executive to chief executive, on my desk. Can he tell me whether it is in it?
Whether the rollover? No,
yes, whether it is in it. From chief executive to chief executive, I received on my table handing over notes signed by the previous chief executive. Was there rollover in it?
Would you be surprised if it was rather given to the transition team? But
the chief executive is sent handing over notes to me.
To you.
On my table. A critical thing like this. So that's what I'm asking. Was it there?
Okay.
Was it there? Now, secondly, this issue of rollover 2016-2017, it was about 50,000.
Was it 200,000?
No. No, it's not true. It is not true. It's not true. And even that one, in terms of the pricing, it was even an advantage to us. The pricing was an advantage to us. We didn't lose. We didn't use high price cocoa in 2017 to pay for the rollover. We didn't use high price cocoa. We used low price to service that. In this case, we are using high price cocoa. High price cocoa, difference of between $4,000 to $6,000 to service low price. They are not the same. In 2016-2017, we did not use high price cocoa to service a rollover of low price cocoa. We use low price cocoa, to service high price cocoa. So it was a benefit to us. It was a plus to us. Those are the facts.
Very well. We say Obi. Good afternoon. Okay, let me deal with this one rather. The president said that he, Randy, has promised him that the August producer price will be very, very, very huge. Is Dr. Randy saying 128.75 Ghana cedis is very, very huge? What information did he use to promise the president that it will be very, very huge? Lastly, we don't care about the FOB prices and all the number calculations. We care about what they are paying the farmer. That is 128.75 Ghana cedis. We're free. Kofi Tonto. Randy.
I've told you, sir, I don't like personalizing some of these things. Now, some of these things is one betray. Na ebia wakokan obinim, because sometimes you expect certain people to reason differently and to appreciate things differently.
Yes,
I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I get you.
If ebia text by answer in komo aye dina, I can pardon it. But yet ha ni ka say dollar, ye ton ade dollar. Then say ye ka say to whom much is given, much is expected. Enti say who at a certain level, and I say who nimdi up to a certain level, you're also expected to appreciate things a bit differently. Like I said, 49,600 and not 31 year cano. It didn't come from the sky. Variables and contributed to that. One is a farmer share of an FOB denominated in dollars, multiplied by an exchange rate.
An exchange rate now.
Yes. Now, are we all of a sudden assuming, say, Ghana exchange rate is still 16 cedis?
It cannot be.
Yes. Assuming say Ghana exchange rate is 16 cedis anka 5,040, no, and 80,600. So how would anybody,
knowing the fact of
I mean speak that way?
That's fine.
In any case, if at any $1 and a FOB is in dollars and you declare producer price in dollars and say multiply by exchange rate, are you telling me, say, an increase from 3,100 to 5,040 and a huge increase? Is it not? $3,100 to 5,040. Is it not a huge increase?
That is if it was 16 cedis.
No, I'm saying that even now, 3,100 to 5,040. Is it not a huge increase?
And that's the FOB, no?
Yes.
FOB.
Is it not a huge increase?
FOB, no? But at the end of that is not what is going to the farmer. It's a 3,000.
What is going to the farmer?
Yes.
Is exactly that. Is the $5,040.
And also now you calculate.
Yes. And I make sure on say. Young fan say from April. Say inka abai my own coin. Say I apply exchange rate now. How much was the farmer going to get?
Exchange rate of
10.25. When the CD dropped to 10. We will use the same 3,100.
Sure.
Yeah, the 10 can get 31,000.
Yes.
And a bag number 1,970. Would that still not be the 3,001? I apply exchange rate. Is that not what would have happened? And the government decided, said no, or best subsidize it. It will give the farmer $1,114 for all that period until we go into the new season. New season, no, the FOB declared 7.2 as against 4,850. Yama farmer 70%, which comes to 50,040. You multiply it by exchange rate, and it gives you how much you pay for this. Look, Yanu Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire, you're more increment. No? It took their price to 39,600 per ton. 39,600. That's the Ivorian price.
Dollars.
No. Cedis.
And almost cedis.
What about cedis? 39,600.
Okay.
Okay. Say, by yen the you cost 51,648. If you compare Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, say no, Cote d'Ivoire there, if you look at CFA, Cote d'Ivoire the Omuchia say, Udi Basidisa 39,600. Yen the I announce no 51,648. So that's comparing Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire as we speak. Cote d'Ivoire by election October. We are expecting that they will also increase. We don't know where they are going to move to. Near Womunim, and on mobile year, okay, so we increment a few months ago. And no any call 39,600. But even when they were 39,600, because government was subsidizing, we were still at 49,600. Although in dollar terms, no matter because we're moving from $2,900, was $2,800 to 36. That was their movement. And a year or 3-1 still. But not still not because government is subsidizing it almost $4,800. So higher. It is a say no compare what we have announced. Any Cote d'Ivoire is here. Cote d'Ivoire 39,600. Ghana 51,648. If you are comparing Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. That's where we are now.
The other thing would be, sir, Randy, if it's because I remember, I hosted, I remember Sami Jemfini Miracles Ewaha, and the argument was between spot price and the forward sales. Back and forth. I think Sami was on the fact that COCOBOD talk cocoa no spot price. And Miracles can say forward sales and they back and forth be brainer ewa. In the I've read questions are said, if I remember what Sami said then why did COCOBOD not also use peak price now the end cocoa drew, because at the times and now will turn you ever told to be sport and because our peak price now they ebeton. Why don't you use that in calculations? So they be a farmer no.
You cannot use that. Cocoa no is produced over a period. In the end, also use average price. Yeah, cocoa is produced over a period. So you have a combination of sports. Like I'm saying, there are times Abia, Yemfane say price no do baby. Then your marketers advise say, baby, a price no do no. Maybe you should try and lock in some 20,000 or 50,000. Then you lock it at that price. It's over now determine price now. You use all those ones to strike the average. That's how it's done.
Okay. No, it's good. This education is coming. So they be clear. Sani amano. Randy, your name said traditionally September, October ni be cocoa season. Why August this time? And mubenya sikabi ato cocoa no.
All right. So first of all, na October globally in October like cocoa year. October. But on the last season here be in September. And it's because yes indication you have some laxity in terms of when you must when you can open the season and all that. Now I've also realized people hoard in anticipation of new season and new price. And you have quite a lot of hoarding and things going on. Now because we are not doing syndication, so it's not as if we are waiting for money to come in before we can start the season. And the decision was that look, let's open earlier. In any case, we also have some commitments that are due. For example, cocoa bills 2 billion is due in September, but the money must hit the account in August.
BOG cocoa bills now we release on behalf of COCOBOD.
No,
to pay our debt.
Where they are CBG ne where
Bank of Ghana.
They be Bank of Ghana 10 year they no separate.
Okay.
So there's 2 billion which is due in September, but the monies must be lodged in account in August. In fact, initially now we thought say was September. That is why I push it there no say on here in August, because utraki sales na crowd say na light crop na slow.
Yes.
And the information that we're getting was that people in anticipation of new prices were hoarding. So the point was that look, open it in August, let them free, let them bring out all what they have hoarded. So that we can then do some sales and then move on into September. So that really was the rationale. And because we weren't waiting for any syndicated loan to land, so we thought that look, we could do that so that at least we could try and mop up all those volumes that perhaps are being hoarded and all that before then we get into September.
But then the real issue would become baby a COCOBOD. Are you continuing with the
60,
funding
40.
model now?
60-40. So you see, This funding model is linked to the rollover. But yeah, the buyers have signed contracts with you.
Yes.
And you couldn't deliver almost 400,000 tons. They needed that cocoa for their clients. Ain't you know? Look, sometimes I don't in-person at the end to say A versus B. You understand me? But whatever the funding model is, no. Look, COCOBOD issue request for proposals to do syndication for 24-25. The financial market shut off. They didn't even respond to us. There was a request for proposal. COCOBOD issued a request for proposal. So the intention of we didn't even get a response. The intention of don't forget, say the previous year, the thing delayed to 22nd December. Never happened before. And we didn't even get what we wanted and had to go to Ministry of Finance for some $70 million or something, which is also a debt to be able to do the financing of the cocoa. So we were in troubled waters. Now, buyers now say yes. So the thing was that okay, say if you needed your thing, then finance the crop. So the buyers agreed to then finance the crop, so that they'll be able to retrieve those low price contracts now. Yes, I know. Whilst they can also buy a bit of this. So that is how come we supplied over 230,000 of the low price contracts over the period, and also supplied some of the current one. Now there's still 100,000, and that is why we are continuing with this financing model. But however, as I speak, Ministry of Finance, we are looking at a financing model.
Another one?
Yes, we are looking at the financing model, moving beyond 25-26. Because if we clear the 100,000 in 25-26, how do you tell the buyers to still take your financing cost? What will be the motivation? So you have an issue of one or more. Two, there's a global shortage of the bean. So it is in their interest that they participate in the financing, so that they'll be able to get a bean, especially a premium bean for their buyers. But now everybody is ramping up production. 333 na came possibly by the time I be 25-26.
Yes.
Now so what will be the motivation again? So what it means is that we must quickly get in place a sustainable financing model, and that is the discussion now.
And also will mean say yes, I go back to syndicated loan
there will be many options. But I'm saying, say, as we speak, that discussion is ongoing. So, Ministry of Finance, COCOBOD, Bank of Ghana, the minister has directed. So, we are on that.
Let me hear your opinion on this, T. Okay. Or say, Randy should be asked about the 60-40 arrangement. Overseas cocoa off-takers advance monies to COCOBOD on behalf of licensed buying companies, TO, to buy cocoa for COCOBOD, so that when the cocoa is shipped, the off-takers first pay the foreign LBC 60% of the value of bought and shipped, and subsequently pay COCOBOD the 40% outstanding. And only 60-40, no? Okay. Or say, in the event that the off-takers fail to advance monies, or they do but advance lesser than expected, what will he do as the chief executive officer? Okay,
so the point is before we settled on this and before we agreed, we had done a lot of engagements, extensive engagements.
Okay.
I've met the buyers in Europe, in North America, and all that. And so we're very sure about what is going to happen this season. And that is why we're going ahead with
it.
Yes. I mean, but from where I sit, I don't expect any hiccups. But like I said, I mean, one global event can change everything. But from where I sit and what we see, we do not think that we should be worried. But like I said, one event globally can change things. Yes.
But how about those who say this may be a reasonable model against syndicated, because syndicated will be transaction cost, transaction advisors. Sikadebe accounts, not be break coin to these expenses.
So my point to say, this model is only coming because of two things.
Okay. Stop gap measure be
one. Omuhu akemu 333,000 tons. Low price. Into we a buyer. More 333,000. Mo signing contract for 26. Cocoa price is equal 10,000. Look at the difference. Won't it be in your interest? Say Uber financing crop no. So at least you can get this tonnage,
Yes.
Low price at 26. Because the chocolate industry and everybody is complaining about the prices. So if you have locked in 333,000 tons at 2,600, it's a no-brainer to put your money in with respect to the financing cost, so that you can get these contracts for your clients at 26. Because the alternative is that your clients will have to pay 8,000 or 9,000 for it. What did I mention? Yes. Then two, there's also a global shortage.
Yes.
Cote d'Ivoire are dropping about 500,000 tons. Ghana are dropping about 250 to 300,000 tons. Between the two of us, we are talking about premium cocoa. As we speak, until there's a global shortage, until there's a scramble, especially for premium cocoa. So obviously, in the face of misfortune, there was this opportunity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Until you take advantage of it. But the truth of the matter is that I was say you at the back of your mind what has led to this situation, and say once those factors do no longer exist, which means that one, who clear rollovers now. Now two, say global supply also increase here. What will be the motivation for a buyer to come and finance your crop? To do sir. Yes, because we share and baby prices a one now. See a coherent indication. Yeah, less than $4 billion. So check the financing cost alone. What did I mention? Check the financing cost alone. When we're doing 1 million, it was about 1,800, 2,000. So even with 1 million tons, it was about $2 billion. Today, when you are even doing like half of that, you are talking about $4 billion US dollars. Look at the financing cost associated with this, especially when in the last 3 years, your books are so bad, say your cost that people can even ask you 8% on a dollar. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was saying also appreciate it, say you can only take advantage of this financing because of this situation, these variables. And that once those variables are disappearing, they are clear of because everybody is ramping up production globally. So they expect that global production will improve. Then now you're also clearing your rollovers. So if the rollover is cleared and global production improves, what will be the motivation to finance the crop? So that is why we have put in place the alternative. We are discussing. Yes,
that's fine. The other thing, back to finance minister statement. It is some of the other benefits ma prepare se cocoa farmer ebenya. Number one, let's even deal with approved rates, margins, ni fees for all stakeholders in the cocoa supply chain. It is here bias margin where they call LBCs.
Yes.
Matum.
Ebi. I'll have to say something. Technical committee in meeting. You share variables. We came to a decision, say, to be able to pay the farmer 70%, we all must make sacrifices. All of us on the value chain, we agreed. Say fees now were set for us for 24-25. We should maintain it. Maintaining so that Equiafono will be able to get a 70. Because immediately we increase them,
affected the
Quianini to me 70. So all of them agreed. Say, look, we all understand the situation. So we all agreed. Say your margins and fees for 24-25 we'll keep it same. Yes, for 25-26.
In the bias margin, haulage rate, warehousing, disinfestation,
yes.
Okay. And after Yamra, the issue of free cocoa fertilizer. I don't know, but there was a process to gradually scrap subsidy on fertilizer. So where are you rolling?
No, I think that it was the previous government.
I'm gonna start saying.
Decided say
okay.
Adena as a subsidy.
Okay.
Under GM.
Yes.
GM1. No?
Yes. It was free. Sure.
Yes. It was the MPP that introduced this.
The subsidy. No?
Yes, and you should go and check the collection or recovery of the fertilizer. Yes, you should go and check it.
Even half price and
they couldn't collect the money. They couldn't. You can go and check the books. let anybody. It couldn't be done. And in any case, on the basis of feedback from farming communities, NDC take a position. Say when it comes to power, you restore what it was when it was in power. So this is a fulfillment of what
that promise. Yes. Okay. It is here free cocoa fertilizers, both liquid and granular. Farmer beer benyani free.
Yes.
Insecticides free.
Yes.
Spraying machines free.
Yes.
And no chimo. So farmer beer man spraying machine.
Oh,
and there will be
sometimes you will gang spraying
into
your hands.
Okay. Into gang spraying free fine. Free fungicide.
Sometimes we use cooperatives into your spraying.
And a free flower inducers to farmers. But the question is, if the company is in such a messy state, why offer these? They are funny way.
Because you see, one, you are also thinking about the crop. You also want to improve the yields.
Yes.
So these are interventions that unim say, improve and increase yields. Now, when there's a cost barrier, you realize the farmer participation low, and it then affects your into your cost benefit analysis. No, will it make sense for me to spend so much, invest so much, and expect that the yields will increase by that, and then make up for it? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you can also be like brofomono. You can be penny wise and pound foolish. So what is the point in creating the impression? Say I'm only subsidized; it's not free, and yet I'm not able to collect the money. And yet the fertilizer is not able to get to the farmer. And you are not able to get it to be used for the yields to improve. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But most restore free, How do you deal with omonso anafe omo area eshepiko amanone ayehu?
Yes.
Fertilizers.
So this then comes up with a strategy.
Yes.
To ensure, say, we would also try and make it one, very unattractive, two, very difficult to be able to smuggle it. So those are things at COCOBOD, special services are working with national security, BNI and others to deal with it. Yes.
And all of the costs arising from the free, would be borne by COCOBOD.
Yes.
That really is the only say I've listened to interviews. Waka said the company you met was virtually insolvent.
Yes.
And if an insolvent company is promising freer, we should all be
so the point is that you see 30%. There's a part which is for farmer support. Once the 70% eco farmer.
Yes.
There's a part
30%
ebekano and known as our buyer's margin a big percentage be almost.
Okay.
Says our percentage and so we will call on government to
support.
Yes, because it is a government policy.
Okay.
So for example, prices here, government says that don't reduce it, may subsidize it. There are things that we're asking government to pay for on the basis of that decision.
Okay.
Because once we did not reduce, it also has affected certain expenditures. And so government, this is the implication of decision now will take here. So somebody must pay for it. Yes.
Can you also confirm the numbers from January to say June in terms of receipt from cocoa export? We are doing around 2.18 billion. Is that true?
It should be true. It should be possible.
And that for a company raking in that much, you cannot say the company is insolvent.
But the money is not for the company. Don't forget, I've just told you. So we fix the price about 64%, 63.9% of that money was going to the farmer.
Yes.
Until we cut 2.something billion now, about 64% is not coming to COCOBOD. It's not COCOBOD's money. COCOBOD never receive it, but then you see. Now, sir, we now kind buyer's margin, now for the 4 to 5 months now, farmer share a movie from 63.9% to 99.80%.
By subsidizing,
Yes. So you would realize, instead of paying 3.1 to the farmer, you were paying 4.8. So virtually all the money was going back for the purchase of the bean. So sometimes on the face of it, Obisha $2 billion. But $2 billion, how much of that $2 billion is for COCOBOD?
It's for COCOBOD.
And no, now you're careful. Now, if you say scanning now, then you go signing things and all that. But a banner you waste car, and I'll be who say, Sikana buy, no, you're just trustee. Who dear woman, small percentage be. What's the average?
Yes. The other thing, Randy, will be the
because can 6% about COCOBOD
from the receipt from sales.
About 6%, and maximum of 6%. And a bear COCOBOD, yeah, maximum. Tenuna COCOBOD over has ni bibia or the bear maximum of 6%. Until during the period now, cocoa farm managing 99.8 no. Ye wakem buyers wakem haulers wakem bibia wakem. It will 2 point something no. Yes, a dollar by economy no more. It strengthens the currency because they say no cocoa is bringing about 350. Let's say 350 million or $400 million every month. And in terms of stabilizing the currency and all that, it is doing all that because Bank of Ghana beji dollar no Mercedes at any rate near there no etua near SSC etua no. And in terms of stabilizing the currency and doing well for the economy, is doing that. But if the farmer is going to get 99.8%, because what happened is 63.9%.
Yes.
Then there was 36.1%, which is for all in Crofona when I mentioned here. No? By virtue of exchange rate, no, say no, so 36.1%, no, shrinking to 0.2%. And a farmer then increasing from 63.9 to 99.8.
But one other thing, because I think said minister statement can say he would want COCOBOD to focus on more core duty, and core duty for the Ghanaian say will be increasing production. They get more yields from cocoa. I was going through numbers now for your production. So we share 2020-2021. Yeah, 1,047,000 metric tons. 2021-2022, 683,564 tons. 2022-2023, 670,000 tons. 2023-2024, 450,000 tons. 2024-2025 projection and say about 650,000 metric tons. And no year from the last crop season to wait year there is an improvement. What is the strategy, concrete steps by Randy to make the numbers look good, at least to take us to 2020-2021?
So two things. Usha Ghana, who compare to Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador, near this now. Ube say yeno ye largely smallholder farms.
Yes.
And Cote d'Ivoire ni a plantation farms. There's a catch to it.
Yeah.
Plantations no, yield per land size no is like 3 times the yield for smallholder farms. Ain't smallholder, let's say 1 hectare. 1 hectare ma 1 ton. Plantation no about 3 tons. So you could even deal with the same land size, but because a plantation no, into use a plantation, the agronomy practices and all those things into same farm size, but because a plantations no yield is like 3 times what the smallholder farms no produce. Into any one thing, so you need to look at the structure of the farms. Between the jurisdictions or amongst the jurisdictions.
But I hear say no, so because of Cote d'Ivoire land tenure system, no, a man here easy to do plantation because they've nationalized amongst us.
So that is why government has taken a decision, say, because of this same land tenure idea, no. So government will use its strength and its might and its power and everything to go and acquire 200,000, no.
Okay.
So that can be for plantation farming.
Compulsory acquisition.
Yes. Yes. So what we have done is say at COCOBOD, you were the friend land suitability map.
Okay.
And baby an edua cocoa.
Okay.
And the Cocoa Research Institute, TAFU, or more at developing land suitability map. I actually say, or my test. Too far Ghana map now. Me will be on my phone so I can show that you can show it. It will be who say, aha, a bit me I have my 100%. I have about 80%. I have about 60%. I have about 40%. I had there no. Oh, there are some places I honor your test. So that is the map that we have provided to the Ministry of Finance and then the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. To guide them in getting the land. Because they can go and acquire land only to realize say acquire land. So that's what has been done. Now, two, and most importantly, Ghana production so abba form power because of swollen shoot.
Swollen shoot
virus disease, SSVD by Ghana 30s. And no nema Craig.
Yeah.
Swollen shoot no. I take you over almost 40%
of your land,
cocoa productive farmlands. Almost 40%. Almost 40%. Now, you will say that close to 40% of our farmlands are not in productive use as a result of cocoa swollen shoot virus disease. The more we are able to rehabilitate these lands, and bring them into production, it will also help. Whilst we are looking at our government 200,000, we also need to do the rehabilitation.
So no, what here do most start baby sir?
No, ena eyemeya.
Aden.
See ekoji sa AFDB scan.
Sure.
Sika ekoji no. Yekoji 200 and initially, and I think it was 223. $223 million. See at the Bay 156,000 hectares. Rehabilitation of both disease and moribund farms, aged farms. 156,000. Now, this 156,000 would have brought a minimum of 156,000 tons if we had rehabilitated them. Now, most of the disease farms, Western North.
Yes.
And that is how come our Western North has lost the number 1 to Ashanti. Because of CSSVD. So you could just ask I see at the 156,000 hectares. AFDB loan. Now there was another $40 million for irrigation. Now, Obibeja say COCOBOD renegotiate irrigation there. No so money irrigation biom. Yamfanka rehabilitation. The rehabilitation is going to be $263 million. Miko drew COCOBOD. The same offsite presentations. $263 million.
The money is finished?
Finished. Another loan, you still, we pay every year with cocoa. Another 700 million cedis from COCOBOD coffers and also COP. The farms that had been rehabilitated and handed over to farmers was 40,000 hectares.
40,000 hectares?
Yes, that is what had been fully done and handed over to farmers.
And the money is finished?
Tell me, Obi, $223 million was the figure for 156,000 hectares. There was $40 million for irrigation. COCOBOD negotiated for this $40 million to be added to the 223.
The 223.
So $263 million instead of 223.
Yeah.
The $263 million gone. Additional 700 million cedis from COCOBOD coffers also gone. What was completed and handed over to farmers? 40,000 hectares.
Out of 150,000.
156,000.
Hey.
Then there was another 21,000 hectares, which was partly done. Into our farmers, they refer to it as farms now kanguremu. So we have asked our officers to get the people back to go and do the BSA weeding too. They must replace some of the plantain suckers, So we have asked them to go and do, and that will come at an additional cost, so that at least we can add this 21,000 to our productive farming. But 40,000 is what fully done, handed over to farmers. $263 million.
But have you
plus 700?
Have you audited the entire project?
The board has ordered an audit, so that will be done.
Okay.
So $263 million gone. Another 700 million cedis gone. 40,000 is what was completed and handed over to farmers.
But because this is here, rehabilitation is a part of also bigger strategy in bringing your production.
We need between $1.2 to $1.5 billion to
do the rehabilitation.
So we are now thinking of how financing the finance minister he's also interested in how we can find a way of doing that. Because if we want to deal with the increase in production, because you see, you already know, say the places are suitable for cocoa. You know it already. So you have to do the rehabilitation. Once you do that, you bring them into productive use. But it costs a lot of money.
What it then means, they say, we cannot target anything beyond 650,000 tons. No?
We can't say that. We cannot say that. There are many other factors. Well, and one of the things that you need to also know,
yes.
Under rehabilitation, for example, World Bank, we are doing it like a backdoor approach to turning smallholder farms into plantations.
Okay.
Into what you've done is that you've turned them into cooperatives.
Okay.
And they've signed deals, which means that if one farm fails, everybody else has failed.
Yeah.
So although they retain their individual ownership, for agronomic practices, you do it across the board. So it's like a backdoor way.
Yeah.
But piloting is just 21,000 hectares.
Okay.
In eastern and western regions.
Okay.
That's what is started. We're hoping we'll be able to do it and do it so well. And some of the learnings from AFDB has led into improvements in the World Bank one.
Okay.
And I'm even sure, even with the World Bank one, if we were to do another rehabilitation, we could even do it much better than what is being done. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that we need to find the money to bring all those farm lines into productive use. Because people speak about farmer welfare. Have we asked ourselves, and it's our farmers, and their dependents for all those farms now? Swollen shoots now affecting. What about their livelihoods? Yeah, they are no more.
It's true. Ekosiisen haya Sempa FM. Mene Dr. Randy Abbey, ono ye COCOBOD CEO and AD Nkomo. We say Obi, please ask Doc, what portion of Ghana's cocoa export proceeds is being allocated to COCOBOD Stabilization Fund, given the fund's critical role in shielding farmers from price volatilities? And I think that's a very important question. This year, fact to say 2.17 billion are Abbey from cocoa in exports now. Percentage saying they're going to stabilization fund be how?
They're supposed to be, but it's not there. Yeah, it's not there. There's nothing. Member 2 stabilization fund. Member 2 stabilization fund. Yeah. And say at this time, so no, a kana adukru, and as I just am country.
Yeah, adukru.
A kana adukru.
Yeah.
Say no, dream send obey. Say stabilization fund in good times, you put something down. So that in bad times he can member 2 stabilization fund. Yeah.
But all plans will be creative there.
Oh, obviously, when things improve, we have to do something like that. Yeah.
Wow. My main share other messages ni binafe Doc Inya no my 0548 443 523 0548 443 523. That's our WhatsApp number 0548 443 523. Odo message, eba we keep it simple, clean enough. Yetimi akan ede ama yedi ama Dr. Randy Abbey. We say Obi. Good afternoon. We say Obi. A doctor can explain from now to the end of President Mohammed's tenure. All that farmers need is 6,000 per bag. Manan Abdul Manan from Bimbila. COCOBOD CEO Atonebo Acheche Enomo. We say Obi, what is the projected production for the number of tons of cocoa in the 2025-2026 season, and how confident is Randy that we would meet that target? Because for years our production has been dropping. Nanabi, East Legon and Odewe Abba. Randy, I think that's a very important
question. So
this is our target you're saying?
650,000.
Yes. That's like the same target for last year.
So last year, the target was 665 initially.
Okay.
And then it was revised to, I think, 605.
605.
I think so. I think so about that.
But this year, more target is 650.
650, yes.
And you think say achievable?
Yes.
It says achievable.
Yes, we think so.
And funding for 650,000, through 60-40.
Yes.
And I'm going to be funding.
Yes.
What me are lucky in a lot of contracts.
Not a lot. on say prices no start here. Into buyers no so more ready.
Yes.
Or more trend yet is say a conformer, then they wait. Into now your target was that say about me are looking about 300,000.
Okay.
But I don't think that we were able to do even 200. Because I say are there no more downward trend. Sometimes buyers so they try to push it. Into what they say all those news agencies sometimes production now. They sometimes use that to speculate. Oh, Ghana increase it to 800,000. Cote d'Ivoire cut to 1.8 million. Until when globally, the impression is that there's going to be an increase in global then it drives the prices down. But when the projection is that there will be a shortage, rainfall pattern was not good, and that way there will be a shortage. Naturally, say prices no be cost. So when they project say production be through be brain now, then what it means is that prices are being driven down. So sometimes when you don't understand some mechanics now, it is something that you should be careful when you speak, how you speak, what you say.
Well, it has effect on
there are implications. It is sometimes I don't say Ghana, no, there is that 1 million thing. But you should also know, say, I mean, I would be happy if we're doing 1 million and all that. But we must also know, say, the higher the production, the lower the price.
The lower the price.
The lower the production, the higher the price. These are hard facts and truths that we must all know. Embrace ourselves. Nobody should think, say, when you are doing 1 million, Cote d'Ivoire is doing 2.5 million a year now. Your prices will still be 7,000 and those things.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the analysts now, they all saying, say, we are in a territory which is abnormal. Until they expect, say, the natural thing. First of all, they all agree, say, the era of the 2,000 and 3,000s are gone. They expect, say, look, naturally we will fall between 5,000 and 6,000. That's where they think it is, because they think that baby I was say abnormal, and it's because of these global shortages and all that. So they're expecting, say, once production ramp up, and how can baby Cameroon, but it's almost they want to go here, Ecuador wants to go here, Brazil wants to go here, this wants to go. All those ones, so they drive prices down, and it's something we must know. Until when we even speak about the 1 million and all that, they say there is a higher, the higher the global production, the lower
the price.
The price.
Obi, kindly ask Dr. Randy, will COCOBOD review the cocoa price for farmers if, for example, by October 2025, the exchange rate changes from the current $1 to 10.25 to say 12.5 Ghana cedis to $1?
Yeah, if it is significant, you need to look at it.
Okay.
Because nothing is cast in stone. Like I told you, you see, what people also don't realize, they say, about 10 point something, Abbey are subsidizing. Abbey are subsidizing. So the farmer has not taken a hit. But all other sectors, so these are all unpaid bills. And the farmer has enjoyed that. It is sometimes, say, prices no cost through, and we raise the issue about the farmer and things, we need to be careful. I met some European diplomats. Let me catch them say, you see, some of the hypocrisy. People keep talking about COCOBOD and this, and the farmer doesn't get this today. By virtue of the exchange rate and the fact that government has maintained the same price, the farmer is taking over 99%. Why are you not complaining? Why are you not speaking about a subsidy? Well, so sometimes, the issue of guaranteed pricing and all those things, and one the advantages. But we always tend to look at when we think that the farmer is being shortchanged. But when it is the other way around, nobody speaks to it. All text nobody is. I've not seen a single text. All can say government paying the farmer as if it is 16 cedis when it was 10.3 is commendable. Nobody has said that.
Maybe you've also not told that story well enough.
But right here on this show. Right here on this show. But you see the nature and tone of the messages. But the truth of the matter is that the farmer has been subsidized in the last 5 months, when almost 5 point something cedis has been shaved off the exchange rate. But that amount has been maintained for the farmer. And something must give. That money will come from somewhere.
And it's also possible, say Siciano dollar no epija ni mo kakra. Ni enfan say eko $1 to say 15 cedis in the next 2 months. something would have to
something drastic like that. Yeah. Obviously, you have to look at it. Don't forget, say, catch it, say, all the other stakeholders agree to sacrifice. Yeah. So even them, they are hoping, say, if any of the variables changes significantly, we'll come back and look at their margins. What did I mention?
It makes sense. We say, Obi, ask Dr. Randy about pension fund for cocoa farmers. I have for boating or say thank you. Okay, me kaisa almost started so almost build the database be of all farmers, cocoa farmers across the country for the purpose of some pension. No, bibi awababa be who in the handing over note.
Enti me buy no. I had also heard about that pension. I think there was a lunch, was a BB, one of the hotels, and all that. Enti me there, na me feel say BB na ekoso.
Okay.
But me buy no bisa na mo so it's not taking off. It's not taking off. Enti me bisa no so there was a problem with the farmers.
Oh, okay.
Now farmers no NTS say it was so mo eso contributed to pension. Now me say enti the stakeholder engagement and a course before all those announcements were made. Because me feel say before we make any announcement, at least no, I was say stakeholders in ATS, especially farmers, yes. No, ATS say pensioner babe no. This is the nature of it. Say na farmer no be contribute to, say na employer no, as in COCOBOD be contribute to. This is the number of years I'll be a contribution no. Because it is not bibia easy sir. You need to have actuarial scientists and things all coming. Yeah. Because many will pension no. Actuarial scientists are here. A computing number of years as I say a contributing. Send your investment how we can get what we will get at this point. If you profile the ages of farmers, how many years do you expect a farmer, for example, to contribute before they get something? How do you expect the farmer to contribute? Because farmers know so much busumi ejuma. So what will be the modalities for it? How is the contribution going to come? Or Matthias, yes, say, or contributing, in what form was it going to be? Is it going to be voluntary? Is it going to be to say want to me any way? No. So all those questions have not been answered. All those questions have not been answered. Into me call around farmers no more raise here, and I keep telling them, say me what pension no, me as employee no me contribute to be. And I'm employer no contribute. The only difference this employer no contributing more than me, but me contributing. And a contribution, no, so I say me contribute to a certain number of years. Now me contribute a certain number of years. Now, even to calculate what I deserve, no, there's 3 years of your highest pay. There's a whole way that is calculated. It is hardly money had not been sorted out. So what it means is that we now need to bring in new consultants to now look at the issue and then tell us whether it is feasible or not. If it is feasible, in what form, before we can make the next move.
The launch was done without Sanioma Way.
I'm just saying, sir, this is what I've come to meet. First of all, there's no pension scheme. As we speak, there's no pension scheme. Somebody should tell us, oh, there's a pension scheme, no.
Yes.
Do you understand me? You will see in the book, so we made provision for X amount as cocoa pension. But that is not how pensions are done. What did I mention?
On the statement from Dr. KCL, no care about cocoa traceability system.
Yes.
Mo pese mo introduce. And no so modalities necessary.
First of all, European Union. Okay. Yeah, will be a friend EUDR.
Okay.
So European Union deforestation regulation.
Okay.
Now, BBA previous administration started here. And we've also continued it. Now, Mrano 31st December and EUDR no ever take place. Simply, we should be able to trace every cocoa from the farm. Until if we studio a OB farm and a cocoa this particular sack every OB farm now, we should be able to track it even up to where the pot are shipping.
Oh, okay.
So you can be able to trace every single bin to the source. If it is a product of deforestation, you will track it.
Know.
If it's child labor, you find it. If the quality is suspect, you know the farmer at the end free. That is where the mapping of the farms were done and everything. So there's that database.
Okay.
Yeah, the eight major LBCs no are dry run.
Okay.
There's also another run with about 40 something of the LBCs before our winning started. And we are trying to use that for 25-26 season. But regulation and Kasana kicks off 31st December 2025. It is a European Union
funded
deforestation regulation.
Okay.
Now, why it is important, they say Europe is a destination of 60% of our cocoa exports. So it is important that you are able to meet their standards. Otherwise, 60% of your market is shut to you. Yes.
Oh, okay. So this is a critical thing.
Yeah.
And quickly on Cocoa Tertiary Scholarship Scheme.
Yes.
And no Minister Kase mo pese mo here with the 2026-2027 academic year. How would this be run? Mo be running way you saying?
Okay, so first of all, no, on say free SHS no.
Yes.
A render COCOBOD scholarship moot because COCOBOD scholarship was on secondary school. Okay. Now me buy no me share books no me who say previous board no. Omo take decisions on be baby say COCOBOD trust. Na trust no omo ebe votiska to build school dying deprived cocoa communities. And no na omo pese omo ye in place of the COCOBOD scholarship secretariat is no more. So that is what they decided to do. Almost setting up a board subcommittee to deal with the implementation of it. Unfortunately, the board subcommittee never met, and so they never actioned it. Although they set aside some money, investment account. I'm not too sure about the figure, whether it's 10 million or 15 million or something. I'm not too sure. Pardon me for that. But it's in an investment account or a rollover of that account. But they never did that. Yes, we are buying. We were also thinking through, because this scholarship was a key plank or the main CSR for COCOBOD. And we were also thinking of what to do. It's the issue of Sabaya for secondary school. That's the same crowd for first year. Cocoa farmer no baso or year secondary or tertiary. Why don't we look at the possibility? Say a bit to me BB for tertiary.
Okay.
So that idea came. Then we call a prabono of all the cocoa regions. No, it came up strongly.
Scholarship, no?
Say yes, the tertiary and all that. Then incidentally, His Excellency the President, I can say no. He's thought about this thing, but we should look at the possibility of doing tertiary scholarships for
cocoa farmers.
Cocoa farmers in Ma. We should look at the possibility of it. And the finance minister, who's the supervising minister, then said that look, we should use 25-26 to do all the work, the feasibility and establish the modalities and everything, and look at how we can kick it off 26-27, because already 25-26 academic year it's just next month. So obviously you cannot be doing anything for that. So at least we have this period to bring in the experts to help us to look at it, look at the financing, the cost and everything. And then we'll be able to determine, say, year one, you're about to me I say, maybe year two, you're about to me I say, then we scale it to whatever. Fortunately, in your database
of farmers,
because of traceability, CMS identity, there's a mapping of the farmers, there's a registration, and like I said, this started from the previous administration. So we have come to inherit it, and we have also continued to try and make sure that it works. We are now going to bring in the experts who will then come in and look at all that and advise us.
Advise more.
Yes. Say how can we start it? How can we take it off and all that? Then obviously report to the finance minister. Then they might go to cabinet and then we'll look at how you're better me starting.
The challenge will be again
627
abuse in the idea of such scholarship schemes.
We will look at all those. Obviously, all the previous experiences will be factored into
it. That's true. Ekosiisen higher Senpai FM. We should be wrapping up now. But again, your friend, the MP for saying Oforikrum is back with another one, Honorable Michael Edu. Or say, or no, a copy supposedly from the handing over note on the bit about roll over and the fact that it was contained in the handing over note. Or say, in this point, I don't know if you've seen it, or say the company sold a total of 6 million metric tons, 6 million metric tons valued at $16 billion with an average CIF price of $2,703 from January 2017 to December 2024. Cocoa beans taken over and shipped over the period amounted to 6.269 million metric. Is it million? Yeah, million metric tons. According to him, this was indicated in the handing over note.
6-point-something million over what? Over
from 2017 January to December 2024.
But that's not how you do it. There's a specific occurrence. Something specific has happened. You state it. It's why 6-point-something million on the calculation from 2017. There's a specific incident. You speak to it specifically. And I will be a lawyer.
Yeah.
There's a specific incident for a particular year. Because sign contract to say meant to me and supply that particular thing repercussions for following season. In fact, no reason here meant to me and my cocoa farmer no A and B. Is this something that you mask under data from 2017? Yes. Is that how you do it? Is that how you do it? That says a lot about transparency. I'm saying, say, the report that was put on my desk, there are specific issues, specific interventions.
That was not contained.
Specific.
Okay.
They didn't do 2017 to 20 for me to sit down and now break it down and go and do analysis. Things that you would not even consider that important were highlighted.
Why not this?
I mean, this is more than this is at the heart of the operations of the company. When you're unable to supply almost half of what your projected yield was going to be, almost half, and the implications it has financially is in billions of US dollars. Is it something you mask under 2017 to something? Like I've told you, I'm not interested in, I didn't want to, A or B and all that. I mean, there'll be time for people to answer for whatever. My focus is to see how we can all work collectively to turn things around. Okay. In the course of that, there are facts that must be known. Because there are people who know better and are engaged in all manner of things. On Facebook, I've seen some people who have worked at COCOBOD who ought to know better. I've seen some of the commentary that they've written, some of the things that they have said. And I'm like, I mean, how can we accept such level of dishonesty? You know very well. Said these are the facts, these are the issues. And then you decide, say, you will play to a certain tangent because the facts are the facts. Yeah, you know what exchange rate in Ghana is today. We know it. Yes. We know inflation is trending down. We know. If ultimately this reflects seriously, it reflects that is what is expected. It reflected largely in general goods and prices. Some prices are trending down and all that. People will begin to feel, say, yes, even though maybe CD value near say, what it can do is perhaps more than what the 16 could do. Right. So in the face of these facts, I wonder how can you tell me that 3,100 is better than $5,040? How can you tell me that? So let's keep the 3,100 and multiply it by 10.25. And multiply it by 10.25. And tell me if it's better.
No, that would mean what will get to the cocoa farmer will be.
That's the point. So why will anybody, in the face of these facts, this truth, still try and play to the gallery and pretend they say, on Tiasie, I know name the Ekosiisen.
Very well, Doc. Ma Yenshewese Obi, kindly extend my regards to my boss and big brother, Dr. Randy Abbey, and commend him for his stewardship at COCOBOD thus far. I agree there is a lot more work to be done in the sector to better the lot of the Ghanaian cocoa farmer, and I have confidence in him to rise to the occasion for God and for country. Lawyer Idi Muhayuddin and
well, Idi, how are you?
Yeah. Idi Muhayuddin.
Yes. Brilliant guy.
Sure. In the Anthony Nupeno, me kind message from Abdul Manaf in Bimbelano. Or say Obi, ask Abdul Manaf in Bimbela, do they plant cocoa? And then
maybe Abdul Manaf has a cocoa farm
outside Bimbela. You see, Charlie, it's been great having you. Where's Obi? Good evening to Dr. Randy Abbey. Honestly, we appreciate the CEO's detailed explanation on the new current cocoa price. But you see, the problem is not about him. Far from that. The main problem is about the words from the finance minister and the president during the 2024 campaign. We can only wish him well. But honestly, with the prior information and expectations of Ghanaians about the recent agenda of the NDC, there is much work for Dr. Randy Abbey. Shadrach Abrefa means all the way in Sunyane and Odiwe Apraying. But you agree, sir, based on our comment, so and creative.
No, but
what seems to be a challenge.
I think, sir, yes. People are just refusing
to understand the current.
See, sir, obviously, a farmer should have been paid 6,000 cedis.
Yes.
At the time, exchange rate is 16.
Yes.
At the time, average cocoa price in the world was 8.5. Odika.
Based on the exchange rate then.
Odika. Because you see, Mema Betraha, my explaining to you how we arrived at 7.2.
Yeah.
Did you hear anybody explaining to you, first of all, telling you that the FOB was even 4,850? First of all, did anybody tell you that? No. 2, did anybody even explain to you the NT are there near 4,850 and why the farmer is getting 3.1? Nobody. If COCOBOD, remember, I'm the chief executive of a company. I've come to open myself up. If COCOBOD at that time and now argument no cause to say to your assistant, if COCOBOD, say na remember try, COCOBOD try, eka HL Ghanaians through medium, he say, no credit prices ni say. Now so, a son said the cost 23-24. You cost signing contract $2,600 per bag. But yen to me and supply 333,000 tons in tea. Although our prices ne cost no. I was here weighted average because I see a supply. So high price no at 2.6 na ton no. Into a nunti yen weighted average no about 4,850 instead of yen fan say 8,000 because I was here a supply over 200,000 of that. If we are expecting 600,000, I see a factor in say be at 220,000 no, a bear 2.6. And be at 380,000, ebe 8,000. Into your striking average now, your weighted average be about 4,850. Into your nuntino, your bema farmer no, and you can 3.1, which is 63.9%. If anybody had given you this explanation, we would all have known. Say 4,850 and ye FOB COCOBOD aba. Now 4,850 no so COCOBOD buy no. The entire ye who say prices e was through near. Now so 4,850 because you can sign contract 2.6 and you to me and deliver and yet 1,000, yet 30,000, 333,000. It was here the high price cocoa no. A supplies at 2.6 no. Until all the amount say prices e cost no. Yen to me and mamu say. Until no ye weighted average now about 4,850. Now no no ye be my farmer no 63.9% 3.1. If this had been explained, of course, people will say, come and explain how come you did those contracts and roll over and others. It would have been a separate discussion. And people would have been held to account for that. But then you would have been transparent and honest. To be say, this is the situation. But say, who say, I will be a question who 12,000 in son will be asked who say, you're 10,000 in 9,000. Now, so my farmer 3.1. First of all, they don't even know the FOB. I would not so they my farm and 3.1. And at the end, I will arrive here as FOB no. Enti obi a resist issue na odika. But you then also turn around and say nipa ne ka sa nti irrespective of what the factors now are today, what the variables are today, what the facts are today. The panel says 6,000, 20 6,000. Is the exchange rate the same? And I make sure I will say, if the exchange rate was constant at 16 cedis, the 5,040 would have been over 80,000 Ghana cedis. But the truth of the matter is that the exchange rate is 10.25. Yeah. Do we want that or not? Yepe. Say exchange rate no above from anasi yempe. Me exporter. And two beside me say me catch or say ehame. Because me hear me financial projections no me use 15. Yeah. And I thought I was being conservative. Yeah. It be use 15 no me tio. There was a day I miss Charlie. I there no 4 years me clear card. On the basis of projections, I'm using 15. I thought that I was in fact, finance minister too. But then no, we talk a lot. Yeah. But then no, when I meet is yet your bonk command or catch so Charlie Randy work with 12. I'm saying, hey Charlie, you are knocking 3 cities. Oh Charlie work with 12. I'm saying you mati. Me ba office I'm free me team no. Say look, let's change.
All the
exchange rate no. Yeah 12. Ni enhwe se ne be. Yeah, na dey na nye debat. Ye hwe say 12 na ye betumi aye say ni senti. Ye be drop away I say. Me sorry anopa.
Aba feather.
Adena ba below 12. Na me free finance minister. Say Atu. But I catch me there me use 12. So Randy sorry use 10. Do you understand what I'm saying? Inti Osha. If you even look at let's say revenues of 4 billion. 5 cedis off 4 billion is 20 billion cedis. 20 billion cedis. 5 cedis off. Yeah. 20 billion cedis. That's off the revenue. Ubeshe make aside that. So 32 point something billion no. Say you know as a result of exchange rate now about 28 billion. Because of the dollar index part component of it no. But overall no, me no enye mami because now it makes my picture looks more gloomy. Yeah. The period that makes me repair, makes me turn around, no, it's becoming worse and worse and worse because I sell in US dollars. The Bank of Ghana takes my dollar and then gives me their rate. But at the end of the day, we must also look at the larger Ghanaian economy. Larger Ghanaian economy. So I must go outside my space as COCOBOD and look at what is good for the larger Ghanaian economy. Is a stronger city better for the larger Ghanaian economy?
Sure it is.
Yes. But obviously, you know, you win some, you lose some.
Baby.
Yes. Export, no. It will hit us. Yeah. Up until the time, say, my A now reduce to yes, me 15 cities, about 10 cities. 10 cities, no. Say, they are me to me the year, no. A change, they are made 15 cities in the year.
Sure.
But and also need a process and you overnight. What do I mean? So we must balance it. So we don't have to make it look as if say a stronger city is a crime. It's bad for the Ghanaian economy. If you are an importer, you'll be happy, extremely happy. You are an exporter, you will not be happy.
You will not be very happy.
So it is the balancing act. How government tries to balance it, and I think that is the reason why government decided say it will subsidize the farmer no by 1,114 cedis per bag
within that 5 months.
Within that 5 months no, because government realizes say oye bibia good for the general economy, but obi mu in the interim. How does government try and minimize the impact?
But Randy Woodham said something significant happened under your predecessor. And where Dennis Miracles Abuaje message.
Hey.
Or say Obi, yeah. Or say Obi, what happened to the living income differential of $400 per ton, which was supposed to top up the FOB for the farmers? In this new calculation, no, LID we mo factor.
4,850 no LID no mo. 72 no LID no mo. The LID is included before it's announced. Until 4,850 included the 400 LID. That is solely for the farmer. The 72 includes the 400 LID. So it's not as if say under MPP no there was 4,850 and then another 400. The 4,850 included the 400 LID. The 72 includes the 400 LID.
And the Mianase, I think it's been a very good interview. Hopefully, a better answer to see in Komobio. Dr. Randy Abbey. No, we're brutal. We're brutal. After this short break, Eric J. Ewaha, Onufri NEIP, and the Minister Eco Government Accountability Forum, Eco Kasai. Wabron Semso, Kofi Tonto would also join us. Na yedi enkomo. After this very, very short break, Montre ye basisi ayeba, we'll get into the vexed matter. Stay with us.